Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the MLB Strategy Show right here on the Stokastic YouTube's channel. Hopefully you had a good Easter. For those of you who celebrate, I know I ate so much fucking food. That's the problem. When you go somewhere and they have hors d'oeuvres or picks, call them what you will, I'll stand around that table the whole day. I'm that guy. And then the dinner comes around, you don't even want to eat dinner. So tough morning. But we're here. We're talking baseball. Got a little 6-game action. They're including the 6:40 games today, by the way. Then we got an 11:10 game, right? You got the 11:10 game in the morning, and then a 6:10 game. I think that's Yankees. So, yeah, 6 games. Should be a fun one to break down. I won't bury the lead, though. Pitching does not look all that good. Does not look good. We'll break it all down. We'll get to that. Anyway, happy to have you guys with us. Hey, if you don't mind, atone for your sins this fine morning. Coming off of Easter weekend, it is the very least you can do. Hit that thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel as well. It's free. 100% free. Yeah. And leave a comment down below if you're watching or listening after the fact. Andy, pounding down jelly beans while doing lineups. Are jelly beans your go-to? I don't know. I can eat a few of them, but I have a tough time going, heavy-handed on jelly beans. Same with, I hate to be the guy, but like Peeps are disgusting too. I think most people would agree. Peeps are an awful tasting food. Give me the brownies. If East, they had some brownies with some M&Ms on them. You can't beat that. But once you get into like the candy, like the children's candy, it's just disgusting. It just makes you feel sick. But those brownies, oof. They're good. All right. Anyway, let's get into it. Yeah, coming off the weekend. Hopefully you guys had a good DFS weekend. I had a great betting weekend, really good betting weekend using Portfolio EV. We'll talk about how you guys can get in on that if you want later. But I only played Saturday. I didn't play yesterday. I just was not around. There was no way that was going to happen. We went to church, then we went to the in-laws and all of that stuff. But yeah, exactly, dude. Anything below Twix is a no-go. Or anything below that level, yeah. Like, you're not going to catch me eating Smarties, it's not going to happen. You can't do that. I mean, you can do whatever you want. If you enjoy it, go for it. Even Skittles at this stage of my life, it just feels like I'm doing something wrong. You hit me with a Twix, it feels right. Very right. Matthew, I had the Starburst jelly beans the other day. My daughter brought them home from daycare when they did their Easter egg hunt. They're not bad. They're good. But again, after like one handful of those, I'm done. I'm tapping out. I'm not going back for more. If you stick Twix in front of me, or the biggest weakness, maybe it's an asset. If you were to stick chocolate covered pretzels in front of me, they'll disappear. There's no chance they're chocolate covered pretzels might be the tastiest treat there is on earth. We all have our thing, but I prefer the chocolatey goodness over the like super just sugar packed Starburst and stuff like that. That's all. Just an opinion here, but it's the right opinion. Yeah, peanut butter eggs, exactly, William. Peanut butter eggs will give you some action in your trousers, for sure. All right, let's get into some baseball today with that. Because we're gonna break down pitching as we always do, and it's not great, but that doesn't really matter because everybody's got the same exact pitching options that we do, right? That's all. So I'll pull it up. We already got the top pitchers tool pulled up. We got all of that at our disposal, so that's nice. Jack Flaherty. All right. So you look at Flaherty on the mound, you go $8,500. That looks enticing. Sure. It's a good price, but it's not a good matchup. One of the kind of running themes that you'll see on this slate, at least I noticed it. I try not to do too much research before I do this show. I want to, go along with you guys as we kind of just work through the process here. But San Diego, this is a team that every single year has one of the lowest K rates in the league. This season, they have the lowest strikeout rate in baseball and the lowest K rate against right-handed pitching. It's just not a very good spot. So I get it because Jack Flaherty's price point is, I mean, this is probably assuming that Flaherty ends up, you know, performing better than he has through some of these starts. It's not like he's been terrible, but he hasn't been great either, especially in a couple decent matchups. Assuming that's the case, this might be the cheapest you'll get Flaherty for a long time. Very possible. So I don't have an issue with it at 8,500, right? San Diego's implied total is not very high. Last I looked, it was what? Like, let's see, 4 something, 4.2, so low fours on a slate where the only totals below that are a couple of teams where, again, the strikeout matchups isn't great. Nick Lodolo, obviously, we can get there. Spencer Schwellenbach at 9,500 against St. Louis. And then Hunter Brown against Toronto, another team that really strikes out at a low clip, and you'd be paying more for him as well. But Schwellenbach is the highest priced pitcher at 9,500, and then everybody's 9K or cheaper today. So yeah, it's not the best slate for pitching. Jack Flaherty, still the highest top 2 pitcher probability on the slate. And then Spencer Schwellenbach, Robbie Ray, another, underwhelming matchup, but Robbie Ray's got great strikeout stuff at the very least. Tyler McGill's been good. This is one of those spots where when I saw him popping as the second most exposed pitcher on the slate for us after I ran the Sims, I favored 150. I did 5,000 field in the contest generator and 20% the first. 49% Tyler McGill. At 7,200, I kind of understand it because the Phillies can put up some runs. Disgusting blown lead on Easter, The resurrection of Jesus Christ and the Phillies spit all over it yesterday, blowing that game late. Really disgraceful stuff. But Tyler McGill, he's not very popular. We're getting a lot of him right now, 7,200. I'm not opposed to it. There's a Phillies team that will strike out for sure. There's some holes in some of these swings. And you've got him at 16% owned. From a leverage perspective, by far the 2 most positively leveraged guys that we're going to have. If the slate started right now and you were operating with the same Sims that I am, right, and we just played these lineups without any doctoring up, you would be way over the field to Flaherty and McGill. I'm also not entirely opposed to it. Where's the chalk going to be? This will help us kind of guide some decisions. So, all right, Flaherty we already have Flaherty to be the highest owned pitcher. It's just we're getting more Flaherty than the ownership, right? So we still have him as the highest owned pitcher. Yeah. Padres lineup is going to be awful no matter what. Really banged up. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Jake said MLB has Montero probable. Do they? Is it Montero over Flaherty? Well, that would change everything then, wouldn't it? Let me see here. Yeah, you're right. Okay. Let me see if we updated for it. Yep, we just updated for it. Perfect. All right. Appreciate that. Oh, this is going to get even uglier. So now it's Flaherty gone. That's another 8K guy. Look, let's just sort these by salary. Schwellenbach against St. Louis. I did bet the over on his strikeouts today. Hunter Brown against Toronto. They have the lowest implied total on the slate. It's really not the most imposing Toronto lineup either. They really have not been that good. The one thing that sucks about this matchup, if you're facing Toronto, again, as you can see it right here, they don't strike out at a high clip, which sucks, right? Because this is not a team that has been good. They're not patient at the plate. Look, they have one of the lowest walk rates in the league. They have a sub 100 ISO. Toronto, look at this. Toronto against righties has the lowest strikeout rate, the lowest ISO of any team in baseball right now. And look, this is just 2025. Granted, the sample isn't huge, but you're up there 653 plate appearances now. That's not bad. It's better than it was 2 weeks ago. They have a 297 WOBA, sub 300 WOBA, bottom 8, and a 96 WRC plus against righties. Like, all of these numbers are bad. So now it's just, can we get Hunter Brown to go out there and give us the type of performance where maybe he doesn't strike out 8, but he can easily go, 6 scoreless or 6 one-run frames. Because if you can get something like that, you don't need the craziest strikeout upside from these guys. Hunter Brown's good. I mean, he's real good. Let's pull this up. And yeah, appreciate you guys pointing out Montero. When I was doing a little prep for this earlier, we had Flaherty and nobody was listed. So that's helpful. But yeah, look, this is a guy in Hunter Brown whose strikeout stuff this season hasn't been remarkable. But last year, 25% K rate. This year, 25% K rate. The year before, 20. If you're getting a 25% K rate with a guy like this, who's actually a very good pitcher, who's generating a boatload of ground balls and virtually no hard contact, you don't need him to be a 33% strikeout pitcher, right? Oftentimes that's reserved for the guys who don't have all of these other metrics that look fantastic. And with somebody like Hunter Brown, you will take these numbers all day long. 12% swinging strike rate mixed in there as well. I just want to see what his expected rates look like as well. Let's see here. Because everything just looks, I mean, this guy's good. Look at this. Versus lefties and righties, you're averaging like a 150x ISO. 327x WOBA versus lefties, but 299 WOBA. Against righties, 235x WOBA. Just really good numbers. So I'm going to be curious. I want to make sure we don't have Flaherty in here still. I would assume with this update, we fixed that. Let me see if I'm wrong or I'm right. If not, it doesn't matter. We're still going to be able to make things work here. And I can always just zero Flaherty out. Yep, there we go. He's out. So what do our exposures look like now? There you go. Yep. A lot of that was redistributed to Robbie Ray and Hunter Brown. I mean, it's hard to be surprised by that, right? At 9K, Toronto, not a particularly heavy strikeout team, but we just talked about it. We just looked at it. All of those numbers are bad. Nathan, do you pass playing MLB on DraftKings when pitching sucks that day? Definitely not. No. Honestly, dude, a lot of times that can be one of the best times to play, because what people will do is they'll all gravitate a lot of times to like a chalk pitcher who's also not good. And then you're getting some leverage on really low-owned guys. Like Kiter Montero last week was a perfect example of that. Gave up 5 runs, but he struck out 8, and he was in the optimal. No, look, everybody has access to the same exact pitchers in the same player pool. Nobody has the ability to unlock more pitchers, right? Like you can't unlock more games. Everyone, it's the same thing for everybody. So no, especially when using the Sims here, I found that the Sims can be amazingly helpful on some of those small slates like that. That's actually the best days I've had so far this season. I haven't taken anything down, but the best days I've had so far this season have actually been on the smaller slates where my pitching exposure looks a lot different than everyone else's. So no, it wouldn't matter if you had to play 3 pitchers on a bad pitching slate. Everybody's playing the same pitchers. Also, pitching, listen, Nathan, pitching might not be good today, but it's not bad. Like we have seen way worse than this. You still got 12 arms on the mound, and some of these guys are good. Shit, I'd argue that Kiter Montero's in play. Not as a heavy exposure guy, because you have 11 other pitchers. Einsteinium, what's up, dude? It says, Lavi, Quinn Priester for all the monies. What is it about him that you like today, Einsteinium? Would probably be my first question. Because I was looking at the top stacks tool earlier. We actually have the second highest implied total on the slate is San Francisco against Quinn Priester. As far as top stack probability goes, they're what? 5th or 6th? Top 5 in stack score. Not bad. Where do we have these two? By the way, guys, these top pitchers and top stacks, they're actually simulation tools themselves. We've had these for a long time before we actually had the sims themselves. These are technically simulation tools. If you have subscriptions, make sure to use these. I use them every single day. They're so valuable because you can really see where leverage is. And then I'll go in to the sims as well. And if there's somebody that maybe I'm not getting as much of, if they grade out better here, I'll boost them a little bit. But you don't usually need to because this is actually tied to the sims as well. So is the top stacks tool. Excuse me. Yeah, Priester. I would say you get a little leverage there, but I would always caution everybody to be careful with leverage scores when it comes to pitchers. Because like, if you're getting a guy that has 2% ownership, you know, and he has a 6% top 2 pitcher probability because there's only 12 pitchers on a slate and you have to play 2 of them, sure, naturally he's going to have a little bit of positive leverage. That does not mean that Randy Vasquez and Eric Fede are good plays today. It just means that they have a slightly higher chance of being top 2 than their own. But also, you're still talking 6 and 7%. Matt said, Montero getting shelled today. Well, Matt, Montero gets shelled typically every time he toes the rubber. So I don't think you're saying anything that we disagree with. The only start he made this season was against Milwaukee. He gave up 5 runs and he struck out 8. If nothing else, I played a lot of him that day. And my best lineups had Montero despite him. I'm pretty sure if you had stacked like a 3-man Brewers with Montero, I'm not suggesting you do this, stacking them against Montero, but I'm pretty sure if you had stacked the 3-man Brewers against Montero, you probably would have won everything that day and also played Montero. He struck out 33%. 14% swinging strikes in that game too. I mean, it's one game. And he got beat up. It's clearly an outlier type spot. Clearly. But it isn't to say that he doesn't have decent enough strikeout stuff. It could be a lot worse. For sure. Let me update this top pitchers tool. Because we should have Flaherty out of there now. How does it change? It's got to be Ray and Hunter Brown. And I fully understand it. Yeah, Brown, Schwellenbach, and Robbie Ray. Here's a question for you guys. You already know where I stand on this one, but I'll typically let the tools dictate this. What do we do with Aaron Nola? I mean, truly brutal start to the season. Brutal. The fact that Nola's getting as many strikeouts as he is the only silver lining here. Because I just showed you guys with Montero, right? Like you can still manage decent starts. Even if you cough up a bunch of runs. But also some of these guys are a lot cheaper. If you can go out there and strike out 8, even if you give up a handful of runs on the difference is a lot of times last year, Nola would give up 4 runs and you'd go, oh, okay. He only gave up 3 hits, except one of them was a 3-run homer and the other one was a solo shot, but he struck out 9 and he went 6. Not bad. This year, though, it hasn't looked as pretty. Like he's actually allowing a lot more base runners than he has in the past. 1.66 whip on this guy. Check this out. These are really strange numbers because at this point, it's like, are we going to see some positive regression here? Except when you're giving up home runs, that's not exactly a regret. It's not like, oh, just these balls had eyes and they snuck through the infield. No, they're getting crushed in bad situations with runners on. But he still has a 25% K rate. The stuff still looks good until he starts missing spots. And that's the most brutal part about Nola right now. 12% swinging strike rate. Like he's right around his league average with a lot of this stuff. Zone swing rate's down 55% or to 55%. It's good. If they want to stop swinging in the zone, he'll take it. But like outside contact is down. Zone contact is down on Aaron Nola. Contact overall is down, and he's throwing more strikes. This is where we should look at some expected numbers. Hopefully you guys don't mind that I do this sometime and try and dig into pitchers a little bit. I find it interesting. I just think it helps more. I just think it helps more to understand pitchers, and not just for a slate, but once you can look at this, like Hunter Brown last year, remember where you could see that things were going way worse than they should have been. You can take that insight and what you've learned into every single start that he makes. So if we can drill down what's going on with Nola, or at least, get some idea, some understanding, then next start, you have a better understanding of what you're dealing with Nola, and it goes on. I just think it's helpful. All right, so against lefties, he still has a 388 expected WOBA this year, a 238 X ISO. Against righties, here you go. Against righties, he's been pretty unlucky. I mean, actually, 256 expected WOBA, 0.06 X ISO. So lefties have really given him trouble. And that's just not good when it's resulting in home runs, especially when you're playing at Citizens Bank Park. Now he's at Citi Field today, which should be at least remotely helpful for him. I guess what I'm getting at here is that, to me, there probably is some justification to getting overweight on a guy like Aaron Nola if we update ownership and throughout the day, guys like Robbie Ray and Hunter Brown are far more owned than him. If they're not, as we're seeing it right now, like if these guys are pulling similar ownership to Aaron Nola, I'm not really sure why we'd want to get overweight on this guy. Outside maybe of the fact that his price tag is very reasonable at $8,300. But he hasn't even pitched like an $8,300 pitcher this year. He hasn't. Guy should be $7,500 with the way he's pitched. Oh, here, this is what I wanted to pull up. And who cares about like velocity for him? What is he sitting 91? He is down a little bit, which actually isn't great for a guy like Nola, who's already a low 90s fastball, but there's got to be something we're seeing here that, all right, so similar pitch mix, four-seamer, sinker, curve, and that changeup, obviously, that does a ton of damage. Like, look at his whiffs per swing on the changeup. It's insane. There's nothing out of the ordinary. It's just that he's getting crushed by one of these. And it's probably, let's see, against lefties. Aaron Nola against lefties. What's getting hammered? Yeah, look at that. A 529 ISO. His 529 ISO. And he's throwing the four-seamer 30% of the time against them. And the cutter. He's been killed on the cutter and the four-seamer against lefties. That's concerning to me. But we'll see. Anyway, now at least we have a better idea of what's going on. Robbie Ray, with the strikeout stuff, to me, is probably one of the guys that you're going to be, by default, getting to a lot of today. I don't really see how you get away from it. Like Nola would be one way to get away from it, but he's not going to be under-owned at all. Robbie Ray's striking out 25% of batters he faces. He's walking basically 100% of them. That's the problem. All of these guys have warts. I don't think there's a single guy on this slate that doesn't look just great across the board. You could argue Hunter Brown, but the matchup with the low strikeout percentage for Toronto stinks. Hunter Brown, I think, is the best pitching option on the slate, though. You could say Robbie Ray, and I wouldn't fault you for it. Spencer Strellenbach at 9,500, fine. I just think Hunter Brown in this spot is probably the best option. You're in Houston too. You're in Houston. Not to mention Toronto just played a series in Toronto, concluded yesterday. So now you're going down to Houston to play the following day. Do you guys have any kind of semi-contrarian players that you're looking at today? The one I keep coming back to is Kevin Gausman, just because he's Kevin Gausman. Like, I'm pretty sure this guy had 0 strikeouts last time. Or no, that wasn't Gausman. Who was that? Oh, no, I'm sorry. He had 0 strikeouts 3 starts ago against the Mets. But then he had 10 and 6. He's truly all over the map. And Houston this year, look, they're clearly not a bad baseball team. And they can clearly put the ball in play. But their K rate is much higher this year than it's been in the past. They have the 9th highest K rate this season against righties. Pretty significant stuff, given that this is a team every single year since I can remember. They're like bottom 3 in K rate against both-handed pitchers, right? They're 15th in overall K rate, top 10 in K rate versus righties this year. And they really just haven't been all that good. Maybe Gausman's a guy that we should be getting overweight to a little bit. You guys tell me, what are some of these? I mean, Einsteinium, you mentioned Quinn Priester. That's scary, but I can understand it. Houston, look at 28th in ISO against righties. 674 plate appearances this year. Really not great. 284 WOBA. Bottom 5. 60, is that 68? No, I'm sorry. 87 WRC plus, bottom 6. Not good. Not good at all. How does he grade out here? Yeah, okay. So middle of the pack, positively leveraged, 8K. I'm honestly more tempted to get to Gausman over Aaron Nola. He's getting half of the ownership on Nola. Yeah, exactly, Jake. That's what saying the same thing. Houston versus righties, and not just their K rate. Jake, go look at everything else for Houston against righties. It's still, we're about a month into the season, a little bit less. So that's all. But to me, it's better than nothing. It's a better sample than nothing for sure. Yeah. Let's see what the K prop is on Gausman today. I mean, it's got to be 5.5, right? Can't tell me it's 4.5. It is? All right, it's both, depending on where you're looking. So, let me get rid of this for a second. Oh. No, it is 4.5. There are some 5.5s out there, though. I thought there would be. All right, so yeah, DraftKings has over 5.5 Ks at plus 145. FanDuel at plus 158. But heavy juice to the over on 4.5 Ks. No surprise there. None at all. I mean, there's some at 5.5. I honestly thought it'd be 5.5 with juice to the under, but not a ton. Yeah. Eric, McGill has great numbers against the Phils. Yeah, I'll be honest. I don't look a whole lot at numbers versus teams. But if you wanted to do it with a team like the Phillies, I wouldn't blame you because, they're bringing back a bunch of guys. They have a good bunch. But how many... You'd have to tell me this, Eric, because I haven't looked it up. But how many innings? How many innings for McGill against the Phillies? How many can it really be that he's pitched career? I can't imagine it's a lot. Truly could not imagine it's that much, but we'll see. You can tell me. Do we have any good MLB props up right now? Let's see if let me see if I can build out some parlays real quick. If you guys aren't betting, you're missing out. Should be betting every single day. As a fantastic supplement to DFS. It's not even a supplement. As a matter of fact, it's a way to stay afloat during the DFS season. Excuse me. Jeez. All right. Any good MLB here? We don't. But the cool thing, man, I just go in and generate. Let's say I want all of these 10-leg parlays to generate these. Boom. I just generated 10 parlays by doing nothing. This one right here, too. Over on FanDuel's killer. I love this tool. Not only that, for someone like myself that's limited everywhere, super, like, check this out. So I placed all of these on another show I did with Ben the other day, and I placed these on DraftKings. I'm super limited there. And I had to wait until yesterday for all of them to finish. I've been betting like you play DFS tournaments. I go in here and I select all of those parlays. I load them in. I use the recommended bet size if you can, but typically on DraftKings, if you're limited, you can't. I just load all of them in, and I'm getting exposure to guys in multiple parlays. Like all three of these had two of the same legs. Two of them had three of the same legs. Three of them hit, and I had to wait till Sunday for each of them to close out with the final legs on that Golden State and Houston game. But like this is basically betting the way you would play GPPs, and it's awesome. So if you ever want to check it out, your first week is free. Link is in the description. Just click that, sign up, get your first week free. Obviously, I bet a ton of straights too, but the ability to just go in and by the way, yesterday was sick. We had a nice profit, almost 30% ROI for me yesterday. Those parlays helped, but everything else, just all the pieces came together. It's a beautiful thing. But if you want to check it out, yeah, use the link in the description. And all I would recommend, God, I can't get rid of this cough. It's a tickle in my throat. Excuse me. All I'd recommend is just place as many bets a day as you can. Even if you start with like $100 bankroll, that's it. All you do, you go in, place 100 bets of $1 every day and try it for yourself. Because you can generate parlays like this, click bet, it'll add them straight to your bet slips. Or you can go in if you wanted to place a lot of single bets, click mass enter, and then look, BetMGM has 20 bets. Click that. Every one of them is loaded straight into your bet slip. Really cool stuff. I use this every single day religiously. I get notifications sent straight to my phone through the OddsShopper app. Hang out in Discord, get familiarized with it. If you have questions, hit me up. But yeah, like you saw, you can literally build parlays plus EV, knowing that every leg in these positive markets is long-term profitable leg. You can do that, and you can build out parlays like GPPs and automate them immediately. Just automate them, instantly generate them, click bet, adds them into your bet slip. Shit, I can place, not just build, I can place 10 parlays in under a minute. And you can decide how often you want, how much exposure you want to a certain play. It's literally tournaments for sports betting, except the profits are more sustainable and more consistent. So check it out and hit me up, dude. If you want to hit me up in the DMs, I'll talk about this with you all day and help you optimize your process, because it's been super profitable for me. Real profitable for me. All right. Who else are we getting to here? Who else do we want to get to at pitcher before we start looking at some bats? Robbie Ray and Hunter Brown, I think, are staples of this slate. They have to be. If Ray could bring that walk rate down, but that's been a staple of his kind of arsenal for a long time. Brown's just going to be a clear product of the other pitching options we have. And then you get into Nola, Schwellenbach. I think Nola's fine, but I don't love it. I'm tempted to get to more Kevin Gossman. That's the one guy I think that, for me, makes a lot of sense. And again, you guys let me know. I'm happy to look these up and work through them. But Gossman, 14% swinging strikes against lefties, over 11.5 against righties. He always has the potential to just kind of implode, which is what the price you have to pay. But try and tell me Nola doesn't have that exact same propensity, because he does. They both do. Kevin Gossman's been markedly better than Nola so far through his first 4 starts. There was one start, the first 2 starts, he wasn't getting a ton of swing and miss stuff, didn't miss a ton of bats, but he's got 16 Ks over his last 14 innings, 2 earned, against Boston and Atlanta, no less. So yeah, I think Gossman's very valuable here. And I think McGill is as well. He's 7,200. If you're talking about the cheap guys, I prefer him over Montero. I know Einsteinium's big on Quinn Priester today. So listen, if he hits, be sure to thank Einsteinium. And if you don't play him, be sure to tell him, hey, you were right. But like Randy Vasquez and Eric Fetty, I just don't see, I don't see the upside in those guys. I don't see where you can confidently get there and assume that these guys can give you any real upside. And it's not like you'd need a huge game from them. But, what type of strikeouts are you getting from, let's see. Here's all of the probables for today on Fangraphs. McGill's got the second highest K rate on the season. And Hunter, all of these guys are up there. Fetty's at 21%. At the very least, that's respectable. Priester's at 15%. Randy Vasquez at 14%. The one guy that I would anticipate us getting less of, but the field is getting more of, probably Nick Lodolo. But he's still sub 20% owned. So priority based on Sims exposure right now. Robbie Ray, Hunter Brown, Aaron Nola, Spencer Schwellenbach, Tyler McGill, Max Meyer against Cincinnati, and Kevin Gossman. All right, that's the one more thing I want to look at is Max Meyer here. I faintly remember myself playing a decent amount of him last year at times. Vaguely. Let's see. Is he flying under the radar potentially? What's his price? 7,600 against Cincinnati. Hold on a second here. Let me just go through the motions real quick. So, Cincinnati against righties this year so far. Probably around league average? Yeah, 113 WRC plus, 21% K rate. I was assuming they were pretty much league average. Seemingly everywhere too, right? 344 WOBA. That's solid though. That's not bad. Been good though. 28% K rate to a 7% walk rate. 58% ground balls for Meyer this year. Myers. Jeez. Yeah. Is he doing something different? You guys have any insight on him? Oh. What's that, BD? Mets are coming on top 3. What are you saying? Oh, Rich is saying there's no pay up spot for bats. Detroit's popping early, but it's Detroit. I don't trust the Mets, Braves, Philly, or Milwaukee. Yeah, I mean, you don't have to trust them. I think there's going to be plenty of options there. And you're right that there's no team that just kind of is head and shoulders above everybody else. It's probably Atlanta against Eric Fetty. I don't love the Phillies against McGill. Detroit against Vasquez, sure. Cincinnati against Max Meyer pops. So does San Francisco against Quinn Priester. But you're right. Nobody really stands out as like, hey, these guys are great. The Mets against Nola are one of the most interesting options. Because if Nola just starts coughing up power again, it's a problem. He can't turn the spigot off once it turns on. You know, he's now allowed, 4 homers and 4 starts. He's limited damage in the last 2, but he got crushed last time out despite not giving up the long ball. He can't figure it out. Yeah, Max Meyer. I mean, the guy's sitting mid-90s on his fastball. 95.5. What's his pitch mix? All right, four seam slider, a lot of fastball slider, and then sinker and change mixed in. Just getting a 20% whiff rate on that slider. Yeah, that's seemingly a good pitch. Good pitch. No power allowed on the slider. Is he specifically throwing it to righties though? Throwing it a ton to lefties. That's righties. Yeah, throwing it a ton to righties. 50% slider to righties. And then what? Is this where the changeup comes in against lefties? A lot more changeup, but a lot of slider against lefties too. Huh. They're not hitting it. They are not hitting it. Let's see something. Maybe Max Meyer's sneaky. Was it one of you guys? Did one of you guys mention that already in chat? Let me know. But this might be semi-sneaky on Max Meyer. Good swinging strike stuff. I don't know. Maybe I'm talking myself into something I shouldn't be. But pitching's not beautiful on this slate at all. It's really not. You have a decent amount of lefties, though, which would be the main concern for Cincinnati, or going up against this Cincinnati team, is that they can run out TJ Friedl, Ellie is a switch hitting bat, Gavin Lux, Jake Fraley, Candelario is a switch hitter. They're probably throwing 5 of 9 lefties out there. You know, you may reserve this for a spot where he's facing like a team that runs out a maybe 3 lefty lineup. Max Meyer might look a lot better in that. Right? You even go back to last season, it's pretty even, but I'm looking at this and you look at the pitch mix, slider clearly the best pitch. And at least it makes me think I would like him a lot more against a team that's not running out majority lefties in the lineup. But that's just me. He is striking out 27.6% of bats. What we really should look at is he at least striking lefties out? If he's striking lefties out, I'll throw everything I said out the window. Last year, 19% K versus lefties, 18% against righties. This year, how many innings pitched? So, all right, more against lefties. See, yeah, okay, 24% against lefties. That's still not bad. 33% against righties. Right now, we're getting 16%. Yeah, I'd probably leave that where it is. I think that's pretty reasonable. Still getting over the field, too. I trust these tools. Like, I genuinely trust these tools. BD. Yeah, when Nola's on, he's good. It's just, you never know when he's going to be on. But I think Max Meyer here might have some value. And we're getting 16%. Lodolo's the guy we're getting the least of. Let's take a look at bats. And by the way, guys, you ever want to check these tools out, do yourselves the biggest favor of your life. Give yourself a post-Easter treat here. if you see this page, right, links in the description. It's just the first one that says sign up with a Sportsbook partner and get the Sims free. You can literally get the Sims tool free. So all of those screenshots you see, Jorge just won 50K, by the way, using the Sims. One of the most loyal guys we've had to the channel and to the subs for a long time. Couldn't have happened to a better guy, and he's going to do something really cool for you guys as well that I'll tell you about tomorrow. But he just took down 50K using the Sims. We've had the Ring of Honor. You get in the Hall of Fame. I get these rings for you. I send them out to you guys. We've had so many Ring of Honor recipients this year already just using these Sims. Thank you, BD. Exact best tools. Yeah, I hear you. And you get them for free. You get them for free if you simply, and when I say free, I legitimately mean it, because the whole process is choose one of the promos, any sports book or pick'em site. If you're in a non-legal state, you're in California, you're in Florida where you only have Hard Rock, you're in Texas, click any of these claim offers, right? Claim offer. If you click 8 of them, you're getting 8 free months of whatever sports. You can mix and match the sports. You could literally run this for well over half a year. You could get a full season of MLB Sims without doing anything. It's $120 value monthly if you're just going in and paying for it. Click claim offer, otherwise we can't track you. Sign up, it's super simple. Using that offer and deposit the minimum. Usually it's $5 or $10. You'll know once you go in there. Use that to place a bet. Doesn't matter if you win or lose. The moment that bet settles, or whenever, just take a screenshot of your settled bet. All the steps are right here. A screenshot of your welcome email and email it to us at support@stokastic.com and just let us know what you have, what you want. If you're like, yo, I want NASCAR for a month, I want baseball for a month, I want PGA for a month, and I want NBA for a month. You can do that if you sign up on 4 of these. And you're getting the bonuses too. Like, all of these pick'em sites are going to match your bonus 100%. And then a lot of these sports books, you're going to get solid bonus bet offers as well, if not matches. It's the best way to get Sims free. In all seriousness, you could get up to $1,000 worth of the tool and all of your bonuses and match deposits. So win-win on both sides. Just make sure to click claim offer. Follow those steps when you use the link, and you'll be in. Oh, Jorge, there you are. What's up, brother? Yeah. Yeah, we'll work that out tomorrow, man. I think these guys are going to love it. Yeah, ring is cool. Already have a ring for NBA and great tools. Well, you'll get another ring. You'll get another ring. One a year, because I can't. We go out of business ordering those rings. They're actually not cheap. But yeah. BD, I'm simmed up. My man. No reason not to be at this point, even if you're using it as a companion piece. You're going to make better lineups. You're going to make better lineups. All right, let's take a look at our stacks, baby. Wow. We are not top heavy outside of Atlanta. Look at this distribution of stacks between Toronto, San Francisco, Miami, and Detroit. All between 7 and 9%. Philly is actually our lowest exposed 5-man stack. Got none of them at 4-man and 3% at 3. That is crazy. I'm not surprised, probably, because from a value standpoint, they're probably in the gutter. Right? Yeah, lowest value score of any team in the top stacks tool. By the way, guys, if you're trying the tools and you're looking for the top stacks, go into MLB dropdown and then MLB premium data. All of it's right here. Projections, ownership, stacks, top batters, top pitchers, and then data central. It's all right there. I mean, sure, Atlanta looks good. They're turning a corner. San Diego. Oh, I didn't update this. Did this change now that Montero's in, Kiter Montero, and not Flaherty? I forgot to refresh this earlier when we did top pitchers. Let us see here. Okay. So where's the stack score going to now? I assume still Atlanta. Yep. Then San Diego against Montero. And then Cincinnati against Meyer. Although I do like Meyer there. This might be my favorite spot to ride the fence. Like I do at least once on every show and say, I could get on board with Cincinnati and also Max Meyer. I could get on board with Cincy running out a heavy amount of pretty quality lefties with some pop in their bats. For sure. Although we're super underweight to this Cincy team. And if that's the case, I hope to be overweight on Max Meyer. Houston against Goss, we're getting 5%. There's really nothing outside of Atlanta that stands out. Let's take a look at the lineups themselves. So, okay, here, look at this. Schwellenbach and Hunter Brown. So paying $9K plus for these two pitchers, going Miami-Milwaukee stack. Going Miami-Milwaukee for this highest simmed lineup we have on the slate. And then Nola and Ray with just a 5-man Detroit. Schwellenbach and Brown again. Usually, for those of you guys that have the tools, you know that a lot of times we're seeing, at least one cheap pitcher mixed into this. This actually speaks to who mentioned this earlier. Was it Rich or BD? Who was the one that said they're not really? Yeah, Rich said there's not really a ton of pay-up spots for bats unless it's Philly and we're not getting a lot. So there you go, Rich. Look at the Sims results here. This type of stuff to me is more insightful than anything else. This is, to me, more valuable than looking at just individual exposures or even stack exposures. Right? Like I could tell you all day, okay, we're getting a lot of Schwellenbach and we're getting a lot of Brown. But if we don't know if we're pairing them together or it's a lot of Schwellenbach and, name a cheap, and Montero or a lot of Hunter Brown and Eric Fetty, if we don't know what type of lineups are actually being built, you could have 100% Hunter Brown and I could have 100% Hunter Brown and our lineups look wildly different across all of our remaining exposures. The second pitcher, are you paying up or are you paying down? Are you paying up for stacks? Are you going chalk? So this, to me, closing out the show with this, I think is the most valuable over anything else we can talk about. What type of builds are we actually getting? Max Meyer, Robbie Ray with a 5-3 Houston, Detroit. Schwellenbach and Hunter Brown with a Miami, Houston 5-2. Hunter Brown, Eric Fetty with a St. Louis and Milwaukee. Pretty fascinating. I wasn't expecting it to be this top heavy on two pitchers. I mean, you're talking almost $19,000 between these two pitchers on a lot of these. I do kind of like the Max Meyer, Robbie Ray pairing though. I don't mind that at all. Getting two guys in that 7K, both with strikeout upside, feels like the most beautiful style boom bust type lineup you could make. Just straight boom bust with Meyer and Robbie Ray. But I love it. Go through the positions real quick before we get out of here, see what these exposures look like. Ozuna, let's see. Wow, Ozuna, Riley Green, Juan Soto. Whoever mentioned him earlier, there you go. Getting top 3 exposure to Juan Soto. BD, what do you have on DK? You're talking Max Meyer and Robbie Ray? If so, I totally get it. Shortstop, Xavier Edwards, Miami again, going back to Miami. Hey, look, Miami's shown some grit lately. They were down 11-7 or 11-4 the other day and lost 11-10. And then they came back from a 5-2 deficit to win 7-5 yesterday. They're putting runs on the board. Maybe not every day, but it's not like they're as lifeless as we'd like to believe. I think Miami at their current price points, as a collective stack, like aggregate, they're not a bad stack. They're really not, especially if Lodolo is going to be popular. Lindor, here you go. Mets against Nola again. Ellie against Meyer. It's pretty interesting too that like you see the Lindor and Soto exposure, but then you also see that we're getting to Nola. That's usually indicative of a slate that doesn't have any just truly stellar pitchers that you're getting a lot of, where you're actually getting exposures to not just the pitchers, but the hitters as well. If you're playing fewer lineups, you're going to have to take a stand. But if you're maxing the mini max or something, you should be able to just spread exposure out pretty much everywhere. Connor Norby, look, another Miami guy getting 27% exposure. Miami, and then Austin Riley for Atlanta, Zach McKinstry, Detroit, Matt Chapman. Second base, Albies, Gleyber Torres, Otto Lopez, Atlanta, Detroit, Miami, San Francisco. First base, Wagaman, Olsen, Torkelson, Vlad, Miami, Atlanta, Detroit, Toronto. Pretty common theme here. Pretty common theme. And then Milwaukee, Detroit, Houston, Atlanta, where you get William Contreras pretty high exposed. Anyway, hey, guys, have a great rest of the day. Remember, if you want to start not having to worry about the swings in DFS, there's no better way to buoy those losses, to go and say, you know what, I'll take 30 minutes a day or sporadically throughout the day to place as many bets as I can. I'll use the mass entry tool on Portfolio EV. And if I hate it, I'll just leave. Your first week's free. And for anybody that wasn't here, I was showing you earlier, I can't say enough about the new parlay generator, because even on a limited account, like I went in on Wednesday and placed these. They didn't finish until yesterday because they were that Houston Golden State game. Look at these parlays that hit. Plus 1582, plus 1655, plus 1618. All three of them you can see I placed together, by the way. There's no parlay filter on DraftKings. All three of those I placed together. I'm literally using individual legs as exposures. So I think you guys will love it. I think you guys will love it. You can go in here and say, like, I want to use this guy no more than 5 parlays, or no more than 4 or 3. So you can actually set your exposures to conservative or, aggressive. And then how many legs you want the parlays. This is just a complimentary piece. You can get 100 plus bets in easily just with the top bets tool, betting them singles. But you'll make money if you do it the right way. And it'll make losing in DFS a whole lot easier to stomach. So come check it out. Link's down there. DM me too. My DMs are always open over on X at Lafayette_D. You guys know where to find me. Or leave a comment down below. Anyway, appreciate you guys. Thanks, BD. We'll see you guys back here tomorrow, live before lock tonight. And we'll catch you back here. Big show, big stream tomorrow, big slate. And should be a good one. Peace.